I'm Doug Jessup.
And I'm Nisha Nagaring, and welcome to Family Heritage Stories, where we talk about what makes us who we are. Things like traditions, values, culture.
How are these things passed down from generation to generation? Through deeds, through words, through stories. We all benefit from heroes among us. Now, they're going to say, it's just part of the job. But it's more than that. It's time for Hero Salute Stories.
So when my husband got into the military, I was dealing with a lot of emotions that military wives tend to. I had a toddler and I was expecting our second child, and I just felt overwhelmed. And when he was in basic, and I got the feeling I needed to learn more about my military family history. And as I was doing that, I then started getting into my military experience. I had other military spouses mentor me on how to handle deployments and separations and integration and PCS and all of those things. And then as I got more experience, I started mentoring other spouses, and I kept saying the same things over and over again. And I realized I just wish there was a resource that I could send them to where they could share their stories and they could get information they needed. And I talked to my mom about this before she passed away, and she's like, why don't you make one? And so when she passed away, I decided to do that. I started a podcast and I interview other military spouses about what they're doing, whether they've got their own little side hustle or how they handle deployments. I've started a panel recently where we get military spouses on together and we discuss different topics that affect military spouses and the military community in general. And then I've also interviewed a lot of veterans so that they can share their stories and how they transitioned, because there's a lot of military service members who are transitioning right now. Your freedom wasn't just paid for in the Civil War or the Revolutionary War or World War I or World War II. Your freedom is being paid for every single day by millions of families and their service members, and the cost is real. The price is real on their mental health, their physical health, their families, their children, the missed birthdays, the missed anniversaries. All of those things have a toll, and there's a price. And we pay that price because we love you as fellow Americans, and we want this country to stay free, and we want you to have the freedoms and the peace of mind and the safety and security to raise your children without fear. And so we're willing to be the front line and take those, but we need to know that it's for a reason, that you care and that you understand and appreciate the sacrifice we're making, because we do it for you because we love you. But we want to know that you understand we're doing it for you and that you value and appreciate it. As a military spouse, that means a lot to me, because I feel like sometimes people don't understand how difficult it is to be that secure anchor for them. We have to keep the home front running. They have to know we're going to be okay so that they can go defend our freedom. Because if they're worried about home, they can't be fighting the battle. And so that's a lot of pressure on military spouses to keep it together, to be strong, and to take care of these children who don't understand why daddy's gone. Someone in my husband's family or my family have probably fought in every war this country has ever had. I'm going to tell you about my grandfather who fought in the Revolution. His name was Thomas Gordon, and he volunteered. He had a wife and kids, and he ended up at Valley Forge with George Washington. And he crossed the Delaware with George Washington. He fought in the battles of Trenton and Princeton. And then he was taken as a POW by the British. And they bound his wrists so tight that he had scars for the rest of his life. And he eventually, I think it was after 7 months, got freed, and we're not completely clear if he escaped or if somebody found him and like set him free, but he wasn't freed by the British, and he was able to make it back and serve our country. And to me, that has meant so much to know that that's not just history anymore. Valley Forge isn't just something in a history book. The crossing of the Delaware, that to my kids and me, we have a claim in that. We are a part of that, part of American history. We own it because our family member was there. From day one, our family has fought to keep this country free and for these freedoms, and we're never going to stop fighting. From that generation till now, our families have defended this country, and we will defend it from here on out in one way or another.
And what was his name again?
Thomas Gordon.
Can you spell it for me?
Gordon is Gourdon.
I'm General Max Stitzer. I want to share with you the great honor that I've had to be associated with Doug Jessup, the Fedora Foundation, and Family Heritage Stories. It is so vital and essential that we remember, that we preserve, and that we teach our heritage and history. This program and the work that Doug and Fedora Foundation do is so vitally essential to remembering the heroes of this nation. They come in many forms. Some serve in uniform, and all across the different career fields and pursuits in life. We're surrounded by heroes. Well, one day, their time on this earth will pass. They must always be remembered and thanked for what they've done to give us the way of life that we have, to preserve what matters to us as a nation, as a people, as communities. It is so vital that we recognize and remember greatness and service in those who have served.
Hi, I'm Kathy Van Wagener. You are watching Family Heritage Stories, and we'll be right back.
There is something so special about the bond between a grandchild and grandparent. So how would you answer the question? Tell me about your grandma or grandpa.
I have a story about my great-grandfather on my mother's side. His name is George Sullivan. His family is Irish, but he was born in India because his father was in the British military stationed in India. And then when he was 7 years old, the family was traveling back to England, and they were on a ship. They crossed the Indian Ocean, and then when they were in the Red Sea, his father became very ill, and he died on the ship, and he was buried in the Red Sea. Many years later, as a young man, George immigrated to Canada. Rumor has it that he actually stowed away on a steamer, and he came to northwestern Ontario, where he was a pioneer in the tourist industry there, the tourist camps on the lakes. So they would take people hunting and fishing up on the lakes in Canada. And so he married a Scottish girl, and they built a lodge and a cabin and raised 8 children, had 2 sets of twins. The boys built canoes and led people on expeditions, and the girls helped do the work around the camp, and that was their family business. George was a very faithful man. He tells the story of when his first child was born. The doctor came to him and said, "There's a problem, and I can only save either the mother or the child. Which would you have me choose?" And George didn't even know how to answer that question. And in his personal history, he says that he didn't know what to do, so he just prayed. He was very faithful, but he wasn't associated with any particular religion. But his faith came through for him in that case, both the mother and the child lived, and that was my grandmother.
You know, there are powerful, positive, and inspirational stories out there. They're the caring stories.
I just wanna be okay, be okay, be okay. I just wanna be okay today.
The #1 birth defect in the world is congenital heart disease. The University of Utah recently received nearly $4 million from the American Heart Association to help find a cure.
We're one of 4 centers in the country that is funded to study congenital heart disease.
It had been thought that these defects were genetic. It was recently discovered that this is not true in most cases.
If it's some other factor, then perhaps we can actually prevent congenital heart disease.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
And that is a major goal of our research, yeah.
Macy Wright was born with a heart defect.
Only you.
She had 2 successful procedures as a baby and open heart surgery at age 10. When she was 14, she was told she needed a heart transplant. For Macy, her best present ever went viral.
I'm never going to forget that day. It's crazy to look back on and to watch the video over and over again and to just remember, you know, it's like the day you're born again, but you don't remember the day you're born, so to just be told that, oh, your life's going to be saved today, this is, you know, you get to keep living because of this, it's incredible.
Your birthday is?
August 23rd.
What's your new birthday?
August 29th.
This Utah girl celebrates her gift by advocating for causes like organ donation and heart disease. She expresses herself through music.
I just wanna be okay, be okay, be okay.
I guess just after going through everything, you kind of have to learn how to be strong. You know, you don't just know, you gotta get through it first, and then you know, okay, I'm okay now, I'm strong now. I know what I had to do.
I just wanna feel the day, feel the day.
When I look back on it, we didn't walk through transplant. A community carried our family through to the other side, which is really special.
And give me back my broken part.
Together, we can triumph over our trials. These are stories that deserve to be told. These are caring stories.
I wanna be okay today.
You're watching Family Heritage Stories with me and my grandkids. We'll be right back.
Just the mention of the word genealogy to your kids, and you'll probably see a room full of sighs and eye rolls. We probably would have done the same thing when we were kids. But as we got older and lost loved ones, genealogy started to mean more. Everyone says they wish they could have just 5 more minutes with their loved one, and researching their lives through old journals and faded photos is about as close as we could get. But in our fast-paced digital world, our kids don't seem to be interested in reading and researching their family history. Isn't it time for genealogy to catch up to their speed? That's where Your Legacy Story can help. As a professional production company, we specialize in getting the entire family excited about genealogy by creating family history documentaries. Your family will love hearing Grandma and Grandpa's stories in their own voice for generations to come. Visit us today at yourlegacystory.com.
The name of the show is Family Heritage Stories. What does heritage mean to you?
Ottawa is a mighty good town. They never turn a maple leaf upside down. Here's to Ottawa and the land we love. Can anyone here name the capital of British Columbia?
Victoria!
Victoria is a mighty good town. They never turn a maple leaf upside down. Here's to Victoria in the land we love. Can anyone here name the capital of Alberta? Edmonton is a mighty good town. They never turn a maple leaf upside down. Here's the Edmonton in the land we love. Can anyone here name the capital of Saskatchewan? Regina! Regina is a mighty good town. They never turn a maple leaf upside down. Here's the Regina in the land we love. Can anyone here name the capital of Manitoba? Winnipeg! Winnipeg is a mighty good town. They never turn a maple leaf upside down. Here's the Winnipeg in the land we love. Can anyone here name the capital of Ontario? Toronto! Toronto is a mighty good town. They never turn a maple leaf upside down. Here's the Toronto in the land we love. Can anyone here name the capital of Quebec? Quebec City! Quebec City is a mighty good town. They never turn a maple leaf upside down. Here's the Quebec in the land we love. Can anyone here name the capital of New Brunswick? Fredericton! Fredericton is a mighty good town. They never turn a maple leaf upside down. Here's the Fredericton in the land we love. Can anyone here name the capital of Nova Scotia? Halifax! Halifax is a mighty good town. They never turn a maple leaf upside down. Here's the Halifax in the land we love. Can anyone here name the capital of Prince Edward Island? Charlottetown! Charlottetown is a mighty good town. They never turn a maple leaf upside down. Here's the Charlottetown in the land we love. Can anyone here name the capital of Newfoundland? St. John's! St. John's is a mighty good town. They never turn a maple leaf upside down. Here's the St. John's in the land we love. Can anyone here name the capital of Canada? Ottawa! Ottawa is a mighty good town. They never turn a maple leaf upside down. Here's the Ottawa in the land we love. And here's to the maple leaf flag that flies up in Canada's sky high above.
Everyone has unique skills and interests, so how did you get into your occupation?
Now, usually I'm the guy talking about destinations, but today I've got a special guest, and he's going to tell us how to get to those destinations in style. Okay, so Don, we've got all this artwork around us, but you probably wouldn't guess, where exactly we are.
No, you can't tell from the inside of a ship, because it's like any luxury hotel you ever want to stay in. But we travel all over the place on cruise ships. In this particular case, we're in the middle of the Atlantic on the way to Quebec City.
Yeah. Not a lot of phone coverage, but but maybe that's good.
Or internet.
Or internet, yeah, exactly. So the question, I guess, that you get asked a lot is, why cruising?
Oh, cruising's the best. It gives you a little bit, first of all, it gives you a little taste of every place you go. And if you really like a destination, you can plan a land trip if you wish after that. But no matter where you go, say you go to some place like India, well, if you go to staying on a bus tour or something where you're stuck with that food, and if you don't like it, you're in trouble. Yeah. You're now there for 10 days. On a cruise ship, it's always the same. You can always find something. They have buffets, they have specialty restaurants, they have live entertainment every night. So not only, it's like a floating casino on the ocean going to your favorite destinations around the world.
I admit the thing I like the best is that I only have to unpack once.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the hotel moves with you.
Exactly.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
But now, you've got a YouTube channel.
I do.
You've been doing that for a while. Why did you start a YouTube channel?
I actually couldn't go back to my old job. Okay. I was a manager for a chip company in Canada, Frito-Lay. Oh. And I came down sick, and I didn't know if I could go back. So I said, well, what if I can't do that? So what can I learn at home? And I knew travel, I knew cruising. So I said, well, I'll train myself as a travel agent. So that's what I started 6 years ago, and I haven't looked back since.
Well, you do extremely well.
Oh,
so what do you think is the thing that people would be the most surprised about on the cruise, going on a cruise and going, geez, I didn't know that?
I think that the quality of the food on board, as well as the entertainment. Every cruise line has different entertainment, and you get to know what kind you expect, but they're all so talented. And so you will get sometimes better performances than I got on Broadway when I go see Broadway shows. And often, like yesterday, I booked a shore excursion. And I thought it would be the most boring shore excursion I could think. My niece booked it for me, and I said, this is going to be horrible. And it turned out to be my favorite excursion of the cruise.
Wow.
Where it was a live show, and I thought it would be student summer theater, and they were so professional and so good. It was so entertaining. It was 3.5 hours long.
Wow.
And like I said, I almost canceled, and I'm so glad I didn't.
The other thing that I guess is a big question, because I'm doing a lot of cruising. I have to admit, I'm trying all the cruise lines. I've done a little bit of everything, because everybody's got, you know, some advantages.
Everybody has differences, yeah.
What's the advantage or disadvantage of booking direct versus a travel agency?
Well, if you booked during the pandemic and you had your cruise canceled and had to get future cruise credits and you had to stay on the phone for 4 days to do it, picture myself for 3,000 clients at that time. And they didn't have to call a single person. I handled it all for them. And that's what the agents did during that time.
Okay.
In the best of times, we basically do the booking for you, can recommend where to stay on the ship. There's good cabins, there's bad locations. And if a price change, sometimes we will change it automatically without you even knowing. And then when final payment comes along, like for instance on this cruise, many people saved about $1,200 and they didn't even know it.
Wow.
So, you know, if you had a dishonest agent, they could have just added that to the price. But most agents out there are fantastic, and that's what they do.
Very cool. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a open-ended question, okay? So usually I get into a very philosophical question and everything, and I forgot to give that to you, so we're not going to stick you with that one. But the last question I always ask is, are there any questions that I haven't asked you that you would like me to ask you?
Well, I'm surprised you haven't asked me what my favorite cruise line is, and I think we talked about this a little earlier, because everyone asks that question. And guess what? I like them all.
Yeah.
Because they all have something different to offer.
Right.
And because I've sailed this is my 150th cruise.
Oh my.
So I've been on a few ships.
Yeah.
So I know if I want I want excellent food and first class service, I'll go on one of the higher end cruise lines. If I want a party atmosphere or something I go on Carnival or Norwegian. I know where to go now. And that's, you know, so I don't have a favorite cruise line. I have favorite crew.
Okay, I will believe that, yeah.
Let me go there. For instance, on this crew, I've met a lot of new people on here, and they are so friendly. And now I've given them all my email address and everything, and we'll keep in touch. And I have crew all over the world that I keep in touch with.
Well, and that's funny because, you know, there's one particular cruise line that we love, and it's bluntly because of the food. You can probably figure out which one. But with that one, every time we go, okay, there's the head maitre d', and
yeah,
it's just, okay. And I'm going,
remember you. And there's Mallory. Say hi, Mallory. There you go.
Mallory.
My new best friend on the ship.
See, there you go. See, just you cue the person, right? Okay. So that's kind of the other fun thing that I look at with cruising, because now, granted, I tell stories for a living, and it's so neat because everyone has a story, and to be able to find out and just visit with people. Yeah. It's also interesting to me that people all around the world, they're all pretty much the same.
They are. And you know what's amazing? I'm hosting a group on board.
Yeah.
And every time I host a group, people meet and then they continue to book with each other after that. And I've had people since my very first cruise as a group about 5 years ago, and they've been friends ever since.
Objects with stories. Those are treasures remembered.
This pair of leather children's shoes are believed to be from the unknown child from the fateful sinking of the Titanic. Clarence Northover, a Halifax Police Department sergeant in 1912, helped guard the bodies and belongings of the Titanic victims. Clothing was supposed to be burned to stop souvenir hunters, but he was too emotional when he saw the little pair of brown leather shoes, about 14 centimeters long. He didn't have the heart to burn them. When no relatives came to claim the shoes, he placed them in his desk drawer at the police station, and there they remained for the next 6 years, until he retired in 1918. They were donated to the Maritime Museum of the Atlantic in 2005. After numerous analysis, the museum confirmed that the shoes were indeed from one of the Titanic victims. But which victim? Reviewing the records, it's clear that the only clothing recovered by the Halifax ships was the clothing worn on the bodies they found. Only one infant body was found, body number 4, a boy approximately 2 years old. The crew of the recovery ship who found him were so moved that they paid for his tombstone and were pallbearers for his tiny coffin in 1912. The body remains marked today as the unknown child in Fairview Cemetery and has taken on the status of representing all the young lives lost in the sinking. Fast forward 92 years later, and thanks to DNA testing, the mystery has been solved. Sydney Leslie Goodwin, 19 months old, drowned when the unsinkable ocean liner sank off Newfoundland on April 14, 1912. With him were his mother, father, and 5 older brothers and sisters, all third-class passengers bound for a new life in Niagara Falls, New York. The U.S. Armed Forces DNA Identification Laboratory in Maryland found a marker that pointed with 98% certainty to Goodwin. Nearly 1,500 of 2,209 people on board the Titanic died. 50 of those were children.
I'm Doug Jessup, broadcasting from the Maritime Museum in Nova Scotia, home of the Titanic artifacts. I'll be right back. Everyone has a story.
And sometimes those stories are told through music.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command.
Car ton bras s'est porté l'épée, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits.
God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard.
It's our honor to be able to help people remember where they came from.
If stories are not passed down from generation to generation, the stories are lost, and it's as though those people never existed.
So how do you want to be remembered? With another episode of Family Heritage Stories, I'm Nisha DeGaring.
And I'm Doug Jessup.
Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command.
Car ton bras s'est porté l'épée.